Welcome to the Believe Podcast Network SoCal Sweat. My name is Ann McDaniels, a former NFL cheerleader and product manager turned actress and model who dreams of being a UFC fighter. Meow. Learning strategies to help motivate others leads me to bring you interviews each week from a range of athletes, experts in fitness and nutrition, and so much more. Thanks for listening to Believe, the #1 podcast for working professionals, and let's push our endorphins to higher performance through SoCal Sweat. This is your host, Ann McDaniels, and thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Believe SoCal Sweat. I'm gearing this all towards my sugar babies, sugar daddies, sugar boys, sugar mamas. We're talking about sugar today. Oh, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you've got me wanting you. Sugar. We all love it. We can't get enough of it. Unfortunately, it's not great for us, but it's really fun to indulge. And there's no better time to talk about sugar than during the fabulous Halloween season. And we have to indulge, we have to partake and live our lives. But if anybody's concerned about health problems or just any kind of watching your sugars, your diet regimen, your weight, your overall health, it's just kind of good to know the calorie contents and just what are some of the worst and best treats to eat. Maybe what to avoid or what to indulge in if you only have, a certain amount of things that you're allowing yourself. Get the best of the best, what you really love. And there's always portion control, but at the end of the day, indulge. So I thought it would be kind of fun to break down the best and the worst as far as popularity, what people actually hate, what people actually love. And also, if you were to choose between two different products, like for example, a Kitkat versus a Snickers, which is the better option and why. And also, a bunch of other types of candies that you can eat that are really good for you, and you can go ahead and indulge a little bit more because they're really lower in calories, macros, and you still find enjoyment out of them. So, all right, sugar babies, sugar mamas, and sugar daddies, let's get started. Each Halloween, Americans buy 600 million pounds of candy. On top of that, we spend nearly $2.6 billion on this Halloween candy alone, not to mention all the haunted houses, turning their homes into skeletons and temples of doom, and the costumes. Halloween is a huge holiday for Americans. So I wanted to rank the top 17 candies and rank them from the worst to the best as far as mashed survey shows. So number 17. So these are the top 17 most popular candies, and I'm going to rank them from worst to best according to mashed. Number 17 would be the candy corn. What do you guys feel about that? Nobody really likes this candy, but it's always clinging to Halloween because of the great colors, and I don't mind it. I think it's really great with peanuts in a snack mix. People say it has a gross, waxy texture, that it's so disgusting, but how come 9 billion kernels of this candy are produced every year? The only explanation is that it's a collective bad habit at this point, but I actually like it. But people think it's like tri-colored earwax, but I think it's great, and that's number 17. Number 16 in popularity, this is going from worst to best, is the Double Bubble. I never even seen that anymore. It's such a bad Halloween candy that it's legitimately neck and neck with candy corn. But what's wrong with it? I guess it's the boring flavor is laughable, they say. It's relatively dangerous candy for some reason, as anyone struggling to get bubblegum out of their carpeting, or worse yet, in their hair, ask them how much trouble this particular gum can cost. Also, people have believed that this Double Bubble contains a carcinogen, which actually causes cancer. So yeah, let's stay away from that one. Number 15 would be the Butterfinger. I like Butterfinger. I don't know what's wrong with people. It's a type of treat that you love when you're little, but like less when you age, as far as what they're saying. Yeah, I guess I do kind of understand because of the texture. It's just nothing like some of the other ones. Some people describe it as being nasty or consider it to be completely inferior to all the others. So number 14 would be the Saltwater Taffy. Despite the name, Saltwater Taffy has a lot of sugar, but hardly any salt. And that should be a clear hint that reality isn't always what it seems when it comes to popular Halloween candy, or anything in general for that matter. Saltwater Taffy can sometimes look like it would be delicious when it's in the wrapper, but eating it is just kind of like, ugh. There are certain flavors that I do like. It's always pretty. I always like to go places and get it just because it's pretty. But when you unwrap it and put it in your mouth, you never know quite what to expect. It's kind of like those chocolate-covered cherries and things like that. No, thank you. Number 13 is Hershey's Kisses. And there's tons of flavors of these, but when it comes to overrated Halloween candy, Hershey's Kisses are at the front of the line. And when you're presented with a kiss, you'll probably be receptive, because by the end of the experience, you'll wonder why you went through all of it. Hopefully that does not apply to your real lives with real kisses. But there are many different flavors and colors, and they always kind of match to the season. So Hershey's Miniatures, on the other hand, maybe they're better. You tell me. Number 12 of the 17 would be Swedish Fish. Some people say, meh. That's the one word that perfectly describes Swedish Fish. The texture isn't great, but it isn't horrible. The flavor isn't very notable, but it's just barely good enough for you to think about reaching for that next fish. You really can't put the bag down. People do say it's better than candy corn, but that is a low bar as far as the competition level goes. And what is the taste of Swedish Fish? Well, maybe we think about the IKEA brand with the lingonberries and just the Swedish culture in general. And they say that it tastes like lingonberry. If people say it tastes like the color red, I guess there's just really no flavor, but I don't mind them. Number 11 would be the Tootsie Pop. How many licks does it take to get to the center? Well, funny you should ask, because the candy is quite high maintenance. But when you get to that luscious center, it's all worth the extra work of the whole Tootsie Pop experience. Number 10 would be the Milky Way. But if you're gonna go for a bar and that packs a lot of punch, you're not gonna wanna do the mini in this size. You're gonna wanna do the large because it kind of dissolves in your mouth with the nougat. But if you're a dark chocolate lover, Milky Way is the way to go. But people do say, if you're gonna get a Milky Way, you've gotta go big, you cannot go small, because size matters. Also, even when you're indulging in all of these things, it's, if you're a mass consumption type of person, go for the minis and buy the bag of the minis so you won't overly indulge. And not only are the minis, but there are the micro minis too, so you can have even smaller portion control if you are so disciplined as so many try to be. And candy number 9 would be the Jolly Rancher. But that is only and only if you get the green apple or the watermelon. Otherwise, you will spit out the grape and the blue raspberry. I don't know if I agree with that, but it really sticks to your teeth, and a lot of people get annoyed with that, but otherwise it is high on popularity. Number 8 would be the Starburst. So Starburst rank one higher than the Jolly Rancher. And that is because they're just better for your teeth. They soften in a few seconds, even though they're hard to chew at first. But as far as the flavors go, people say that all the Starburst flavors are on the same level, whereas the Jolly Ranchers, you can win some and you lose some, especially with the grape and the blue raspberry. Online polls say that the yellow and the orange are lesser than the pink and the red, and I actually do agree with that. Candy number 7 is the Kitkat. Hugely popular because of the crunch, no matter what the size is. It always packs a great crunch. And also Kitkats come in interesting flavors like pumpkin and even wasabi. I think that sounds really interesting and I'd love to try it. In fact, people in Japan love them so much that there are approximately 400 different flavors of said Kit Kat. And you know that all these things come in machines, including people's underwear that you can buy in vending machines in Japan. Yes, if you didn't know that, it's a very interesting fact. Number 6 is hot tamales. These are amazing with so many sweet candies invading people's Halloween bags. People love the spice, the abundance of cinnamon flavor. Hot tamales are sure to set your taste buds on fire. Of course, in the most gentle way. And what do you drink after you have hot tamales or something hot? Of course, it would be like Ron Burgundy with the milk. Or you can put a napkin on your tongue. Or plunge yourself into an ice bath, which is actually good for you anyway because of cryotherapy and what it does for your body. And you can kind of go ahead and indulge on the hot tamales because each one is only 7 calories. Candy number 5 are those beautiful, wonderful classic M&Ms. We don't get sick of the characters. We find them charming. They're adorable. And M&Ms comes out with so many different types and flavors for the holidays. But they really all taste the same, even though we argue that the blue tastes different. And also, there have been studies shown that people would think the green is an aphrodisiac, but sadly, it is not. However, I've done other podcasts on aphrodisiac types of foods, and I can certainly do another one. But unfortunately, the green M&M is not. So let's move on to number 4, and that would be the Sour Patch Kids. Oh yes, like hot tamales, the Sour Patch Kids offer some needed flavor diversity on Halloween. They were introduced in 1985, and instead of being spicy like the hot tamales, they pack that perfect sweet and sourness that we all love. That's number 4, and it's a roller coaster for your taste buds. They're soft and chewy, they're pillowy, and they don't really get stuck in your teeth like the other ones. These bad boys cause an extra amount of puckering with your little mouth and your big luscious lips, and they have that same sweet aftertaste as some of the other ones, but Sour Patch Kids are number 4. Moving on to number 3 in most popularity is the Snickers. Oh yes, it's a Halloween mainstay that never gets old, and I always steal Snickers out of kids' baskets, and I think that it goes to show that 30% of parents, the amount of candy consumed from the Halloween baskets for trick-or-treating are by parents, 30% of the candy. I would have thought that it was a lot more. And you can do a lot with that over, the overage of Halloween candy as far as donations and things like that go as well. In fact, you can send them to the troops for them to enjoy Halloween. Like the Kitkat Snickers still taste good, even if they're in the fun size version. The caramel, peanuts, nougat, and milk chocolate combine with a unbelievable satisfaction that we see on these commercials. 400 million Snicker bars are sold per year. That's starting in the spring when people start buying for Halloween. And if you want to be a Halloween hero, hand out full-size Snickers to every man, woman, child, alien who comes to your door, and your neighborhood will love you. Then you can, run over their plants and maybe not park in the right spot. But if you, they give Snickers the full size, we can let it go. Number 2 is Skittles. When it comes to sweet, chewy candies on Halloween, Skittles are by far the best. It's safe to say that they've mastered the craft, and all the flavors of strawberry, grape, orange, lemon, and green apple are fantastic in their own individual way. And for that reason, Skittles is number 2. And moving on to number 1, with no surprise whatsoever, is the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Oh my God, is there anything better? It's the best candy. It's always a crowned winner. And I had to laugh in the store the other day. I was behind a man in a business suit, and he was with his wife, and they were both highly dressed. And there happened to be a display of the Reese's Peanut Butter Brittle. Have you seen that? It was on an end cap. And the guy was like, they were talking about dinner, and they had 2 bottles of wine in their hands. And the guy stopped, and he's like, "Oh my God, look what they have now." And I thought it was so funny. And I laughed at them, and I pulled them aside. I'm like, "Look at you, like so sophisticated." And then you turned into a child. And they were all laughing. It was just like, but you've got to check that out. It looks like peanut brittle, but it's the Reese's Pieces Halloween brittle. So in hindsight, you also are probably looking at less calories because it's a brittle. So I'll have to look at that and check it out and maybe report back. But the number 1 candy so many years in a row is the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. I recently looked at YouTube stars Erin Robinson, and she had done a poll on TikTok as to ask people what their least favorite Halloween candies are. And I thought it was really interesting, and I was going to share. People hate the most of these Halloween candies that are, again, candy corn. The Laffy Taffy, Tootsie Roll, Cowtails. If you don't know what Cowtails are, they're caramel, almost like Tootsie Rolls, and they have cream inside. I don't think they're bad. I think they're kind of good. Peanut Butter Crisps, Milk Duds, Goobers, Raisinets, and the dreaded Circus Peanuts. I tend to agree with all of those, but I do, in fact, like the candy corn, and I do like the overly large candy corns that come in pumpkins. They're kind of like mallow creams. I do love those, actually. So I also want to give you a list of the top 10 candies that are among the healthiest. And please understand that these are not healthy for you. It's a good indulgence for enjoying life, but these are not healthy. So it's kind of a paradox in what I'm saying of the healthiest candies. But if you're going to pick 10, especially if you have kids and you're having trick-or-treaters or you're having little Halloween parties, these are the best 10 for of the healthy, I guess, if you will. And please understand that I'm not saying that it's healthy per se. So first would be the mini Laffy Taffy. Some kids complain about these, but it's better for you. They're relatively guilt-free. It's 30 calories per piece with 1 gram of fat and 4.2 grams of sugar. Next is the Milky Way. They are 38 calories per piece, 1.6 grams of fat and 6 grams of sugar. Next would be the mini Kitkat. And please understand again that these are minis. The mini Kitkat. The Give Me a Break is 42 calories per piece, 2.2 grams of fat and 4.2 of sugar. The mini Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. This is great, and you can try the 90-calorie Reese's Pumpkins, but they are 40 calories per piece, 2.6 grams of fat and 4.6 of sugar. The Nestle Size Crunch, again, this is the fun size. It is 50 calories per piece, 2.5 grams of fat and 5.5 sugar. Next are the Fun Size Skittles. This is 60 calories per package, 1 gram of fat, and 11.3 of sugar. How about the fun size 3 Musketeers? And that would be 63 calories per piece, 2 grams of fat, and 10 grams of sugar. Next is the fun size peanut M&Ms, 90 calories per package, 5 grams of fat, and 9 grams of sugar. Next is a snack size Payday, although I don't even know if they make those anymore. And that is 90 calories per piece, 5 grams of fat, and 8 grams of sugar. And finally, there's the full size York Peppermint Patty. The other ones I mentioned that were healthy were in the mini, but the York Peppermint Patty you can do in the full size, and that would be 140 calories per piece, 2.5 grams of fat, and 25 grams of sugar, but clocking in at 104 calories a pop. The mini chocolates are around 100 calories less than the other full-size bars. So they are much lower in calorie, which is why restaurants always give them, and they're always kind of a diet trick, but they are actually my least favorite. York Peppermint Patties, to me, it's just worth the extra calories. I do not care for those at all. But that would be number one as far as the sugar content and just overall macros for the healthiest of the candy. Again, I use that in jest. And finally, I want to end with the 2021 poll as far as what nutritionists say are the top healthiest if you're going to indulge in Halloween candy and other types of treats. So this again comes from the Women's Health magazine, the top 24 by nutritionists. The first one would actually be a product called Golly Lollies, Golly Lolli, and those are only 1 gram of sugar per pop. Number 2 would be the Malua Lemon Cashew Prebiotic Bites, and that is found at Urban Outfitters. And it's only 70 calories per ball and 5 grams of carbs, 4 grams of sugar. The next one is the brand High Key, Highkey, Keto Chocolate Chip Cookies. Those are only 1 gram of net carbs, keto-friendly, grain-free, gluten-free chocolate chip. Number 4 will be the fun size milk chocolate M&Ms. Low, as far as the other things go, 63 calories per fun size bag, 10 grams of carbs, and 9 grams of sugar. Number 5, York Peppermint Patties Miniatures, as I just mentioned. And again, you saw the macros on that, 27 grams of sugar and 150 calories. Smart Sweets Peach Rings. You can find these on Amazon and in other health food stores. They are only 80 calories per serving, 33 grams of carbs, 3 grams of sugar. Number 7, the Unreal brand, Unreal, Dark Chocolate Crispy Quinoa Gems. And you can find those on Amazon. And 140 calories per serving, 15 grams of sugar, 19 grams of carbs. Number 8 would be Surf Sweets Organic Fruity Bears Mini Bags. And that is actually per serving would be 16 pieces at 130 calories, 23 grams of sugar, and 32 grams of carbs. Number 9 is the Numa brand, Numa, Original Cream Good For You Nougat. And that actually looks pretty good. It's like milky and chewy bites that taste like Halloween candy, but they're very low in sugar and contain ingredients and fiber, or natural ingredients and fiber. A 2-piece serving will be 110 calories, 18 grams of carbs, 8 sugar. Number 10 is the brand Bissinger Gummy Panda, Bissinger Gummy Pandas. And that is 17-piece serving, and it's a strawberry mango flavor at 130 calories, 18 grams of sugar, 29 grams of carbs. Number 11, you should be familiar with these. They're kind of everywhere now. And that would be the Justin's Dark Chocolate Peanut Butter Cups. They're good, but they don't really compare to Reese's, if you ask me. But if you're going to pick a different option, they are actually made with sustainably sourced palm fruit oil through the Rainforest Alliance project. And per serving, it's at 220 calories, 20 grams of carbs, and 16 grams of sugar. Number 12, the Woodstock Organic Dark Chocolate Raisins, for those raisin chocolate lovers out there. And that would be for a quarter cup serving, is 170 calories, 8 grams of fat, 27 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of sugar. Number 13, we're familiar with this one, is the Giardelli. You can find these everywhere. And that's the 72% cacao dark chocolate squares. Remember, dark chocolate is always just good for you anyway, but go ahead and indulge in milk chocolate. It's Halloween. That for a 4-piece serving is 230 calories, 20 grams of fat, 19 grams of carbs, and 4 grams of fiber with 11 grams of sugar. Number 14 is the Cocomels Sea Salt Coconut Milk Caramels. A lot of people love the salty and the sweet on those, and the brand is Cocomel, Cocomel. And for a 6-piece serving, it's 120 calories, 3.5 grams of fat, 21 carbs, and 16 grams of sugar. Number 15 is the Ocho Organic Peanut Butter Minis. That's O-C-H-O, Ocho. And that would be 210 calories per serving, 18 grams of carbs, 17 grams of sugar. Number 16, those 3 Musketeers. I find those like light and delicious and very airy. And a 7-piece serving would be 170 calories, 5 grams of fat, 32 grams of carbs, and 27 grams of sugar. Not bad at all. Number 17 for an indulgence, and we see these all the time, are the Larabar Minis chocolate chip cookie dough. And these are the minis, so it's kind of like the bars, but they come in a mini size. And that, of course, is all natural ingredients and without artificial sweeteners. And for 1 bar serving, it's 100 calories, 6 grams of fat, 12 carb, 8 sugar, and 2 grams of protein. Number 18, easy to get, Trader Joe's dark chocolate peanut butter cups. Again, another play on the Reese's. Not quite as good, but go for an 8 out of 10 if you're seeking a man or a woman or whoever your significant other or a lover would be. Sometimes you just gotta settle for an 8, and that would be the dark chocolate peanut butter cups from Trader Joe's or the Justin's, but nothing beats a Reese's. But as far as health goes, a 3-piece serving of the dark chocolate peanut butter cups from Trader Joe's is 200 calories, 12 grams of fat, and that's only 6 saturated, 18 grams of sugar, and 3 grams of protein. Number 19, we're almost there, are the Almond Joys. Sometimes they feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy would have more protein due to the nuts, the almonds inside. Per bar, 220 calories, 12 grams of fat, 26 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of sugar. And we have 4 more of the healthiest, according to nutritionists. Number 20 is the Giardelli, again. Intense, dark sea salt soiree, chocolate squares. And it has beautiful packaging, intense dark chocolate. And it is actually for a 4-piece serving, 210 calories, 15 grams of fat, 23 carbs, and 17 grams of sugar. Number 21, the Hershey's Special Dark Chocolate Kisses. These are the ones that come in the purple bag. It's the Special Dark. And that for a 7-piece serving is 150 calories, 9 grams of fat, and the sugars would be 17 with 2 grams of fiber and 2 grams of protein. Next is the Unreal Dark Chocolate Peanut Butter Cups. Here we go again with the imposters for the Reese's, but this is the Unreal brand. And it packs a punch of chocolate and peanut butter at a 1-cup serving, 80 calories, 6 grams of fat, 8 grams of carbs, 5 grams of sugar. And it has fiber and protein at 1 gram apiece. Number 23 would be the Dark Chocolate Raspberry Skinny Dipped Almonds. I don't know why I do not like fruit with chocolate. I cannot pair fruit with chocolate, and I really don't even add nuts. I just want chocolate by itself, or all of these things separate, but people love them, obviously. So for that skinny dipped, mercado.com, you can find them, or on Amazon or in most health food stores. It's 180 calories for 1.2 ounce serving, 15 grams of fat, 10 grams of carbs, and 6 grams of sugar. And finally, number 24 would be the Smart Sweets Fruity Gummy Bears. Again, people love gummies, especially Americans. And they're chewy and yummy. And for a bag, it comes in at 90 calories, 0 grams of fat, 33 grams of carbs, and 3 grams of sugar. So those would be the top 24. Rated by nutritionists in 2021, according to Women's Health magazine. Now, in this final segment, I want to give you a list of options. If you were to choose one over the other, I'm going to give you the better of the 2 options and quiz yourself as we go along. So number 1, which one do you think is healthier? The Reese's Peanut Butter Cup or the Snickers? The better choice is actually Snickers. I'd rather take the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Sorry. When faced with the option of peanut butter M&Ms or Skittles, the better choice for calories and macros and health is the peanut butter M&Ms, or the peanut M&Ms, excuse me. Next, a Twix or a Kitkat? What is the better option for health? It is the Kitkat. How about the candy corn or the Tootsie Roll? Actually, it's a tie. They're both relatively the same thing. It just comes down to a matter of taste and choice. I would take the Tootsie Roll. Actually, no, I would do both. I really don't mind either of them. How about a Butterfinger or a York Peppermint Patty? Ding, 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 you're right, the York Peppermint Patty. How about Starburst or a Jolly Rancher? What do you think is actually better for your health? And again, I use that in jest. It's actually the Jolly Rancher. And of course, make sure you get the watermelon or the green apple and throw away the blue raspberry and the grape. They were very specific on that as Americans. How about on the next one, if you were faced with Smarties or Sweet Tarts? It's actually the Smarties. And by the way, do you guys like Pixie Sticks? so many of my friends growing up would inhale those. And I remember if I jumped off the high dive, my dad gave me one of those giant, huge grape pixie sticks. You know, they come in like, and when you're a kid, it's like the Sears Tower size, and I would just eat the whole thing. I loved the grape pixie sticks. And then I was jumping off the high dive all the time, and that was a very good trick. Trick the kid with candy always works. They also put rum in my mouth to make me go to sleep. But I'm great today. How about next would be faced with a Milky Way or Payday? What do you think is the better option? That is actually the Milky Way. How about an Almond Joy or a Mounds, a typical competition? It's actually a tie between the two because that extra added fat for the almonds and the coconut kind of even themselves out. And they both, the Almond Joy actually has added protein. So which one do you prefer actually? I like both of them. I would probably take an Almond Joy, but it's a tie between those two. And the second to last, what if you're to choose between a Bubble Yum or a Tootsie Pop? The better option is the Bubble Yum. And finally, a caramel apple or a candy apple. It's actually the candy apple. So these are just some things that you can, if you're faced at a party with any of these are the kinder and healthier alternatives. I'm going to wrap this up by saying it is so important to live your life and indulge. Sometimes if we're really into our health, we can sort of become like orthorexics, where everything that goes in our body has to be perfect and simple and clean and without any indulgences or having any fun in life. And don't skip those Halloween parties. Indulge, and there's always the mini sizes, and do it in portion control. And try not to buy those huge like Sam's Club or Costco bags and have them laying around the house, because if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. But live your life. Eat the chocolate, eat the Smarties, eat the Starburst. God, have that Snickers bar. Snickers satisfies. And so many other things during the Halloween season satisfies as well. I love the scary, spooky, tantalizing terrors that keep me up at night. Ooh, love it. This season is just the best. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight on healthier alternatives, especially if you guys have kids and are working on your health regimens. Thank you again for joining me on another episode of SoCal Sweat, and I will see you next time. And keep indulging in that sugar, because you guys are all sugar babies and sugar daddies out there. Thanks again. We appreciate you for listening, and please rate and subscribe the show on iTunes. You can also listen on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Luminary, Tuned In, or at Bleed.com. And you can always reach out to me for any questions or topics you'd like covered on the show at Ann McDaniels or at Ann McDaniels Actress. And I look very forward to seeing you next time on Believe SoCal